All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome. So, today we're going to be talking about a new format of video that I've been wanting to try, and it is the perfect time, which we'll talk about why in a second, for me to try it. And that is just one take tests. So, there are an incredibly large amount of weapons in Warframe at this point, and a lot of people want me to cover a lot of different things and update certain builds and all this stuff. So, I'm going to be doing these, and I have devised a method for you to get to choose exactly what I'm doing the videos on. If you want me to talk about the Stug, I can do a video on the Stug within these parameters. These are just one take tests. They should be about, 10 plus-ish minutes long, and basically you're going to be able to, while I'm live on Twitch, do any of the, how much, 5 gifted, 2,500 bits, or $20 dono, and you're going to get to pick the weapon, and we're going to do a one-take test with it. Talk about the build, put the build out there, just like discuss while playing and all that good business, and then that will be edited into a video for it, and it will be up on YouTube, and you will get credit for the weapon that you picked. If you're the first person to pick the Stug, between, maybe if eventually the build needs to be updated, someone else would be able to pick it again, but basically, if you have a weapon that you want to make sure I get to, or a weapon that you want your name on for the video, you can do that. So that's basically the plan. But to exemplify how I'm going to be doing this, I of course am going to pick my own weapon, which is a weapon that no one else can have, and that is the KUVA QUARTAKK. I really, really enjoy the KUVA QUARTAKK. It is my favorite kind of just regular gun. So my just one take test is this weapon, because I like it a whole lot. I'm using Revenant for this run just because he's pretty safe and chill. And this is my current build for the KUVA QUARTAKK. We're using primary Deadhead because since the headshot damage changes, this headshot multiplier is like way more crazy. And it's also what you should be going for on the KUVA QUARTAKK anyway. And because we're using Hunter munitions and because of the way the KUVA QUARTAKK fires, it's really easy to kill enemies even when they're really high level. The first couple kills will be slower, and then the later kills will be incredibly, incredibly quick between Galvanized Aptitude and primary Deadhead going off and Hunter munitions working on overtime. So this is the build for it. Also, Prime Shred, of course, allowing us to take on large amounts of groups. So that is the KUVA QUARTAKK build that we're rolling with. We are just going to run into KUVA Survival. It's worth noting, if you have a specific mission that you'd want me to do with it, that's going to work for the just one take test. You can pick probably whatever kind of nonsense, but I will call you out in the video if you pick nonsense that doesn't make any sense. So, Steel Path, KUVA Survival, here we go. Yeah, I think these are going to be a good way for me to get through like the large catalog of weapons that Warframe has and get to weapons I might not otherwise, where some weapons are very normal and I might not realize that people want to see it, or, you specifically want me to talk about how bad a weapon is, which also will happen. If you choose a bad weapon, guess what? I'm going to tell you how terrible it is. That's also absolutely valid. Yeah, it won't always be this mission. This is a mission that I, of course, run a lot, doing the Warframe tests and everything else, and it's a good one to do for just general knowledge on like how good something is. You can see the damage of the KUVA QUARTAKK going absolutely ridiculous. This weapon benefits from having an extremely high amount of status and an extremely high pellet count. Whenever you add the punch through in, you can just like hallway clear extremely easily, and the slash procs are immense, and it's just problematic for the enemies involved. Keeping up Deadhead is like absolutely trivial, and like you can see, I have Roar on this build, but it's not necessary for this. These enemies just have no shot. Like between the slash procs and everything else, it's pretty simple here. Yeah, we are also, for anyone who's wondering why I picked Revenant, because I have been Revenant a lot recently in the recent videos, but with the Archon videos and everything else. I've been wanting to show off Revenant's like new, like how much resistance he gets from his 2 being like timer based now, where you're invincible for like a second after each one of his charges dissipates. I wanted to show that off, like how less often he has to refresh now, because it really is very nice. And I figured this would be a good way to do it. Yeah, it is worth noting for the KUVA QUARTAKK as well, I'm using like its big like chunky fire mode that you get whenever you aim down sight. However, you can full auto this weapon, And this is a very effective mode, and if you start doing this and then aim down sight, you get to continue firing in this manner, which, once you're stacked up with Deadhead, is actually extremely effective for taking on really large groups. And even if you have to reload, you can keep going in this way. So if you want to just like have like the fully automatic fire and to take down nullifiers and stuff, this can still absolutely do that. And because it's the hip fire is the fully automatic, it's actually really, really nice just for carrying it around for nullifiers, and then for like harder targets. If you've got Deadhead stacked up, at least with this build, you can of course switch out Galvanized, or the Galvanized status mod for Serration, and then it can kill targets without the need for Deadhead. But if you have Deadhead on and Aptitude stacked up, you're gonna, I mean, you can see, like, these are Steel Path level enemies, and it shreds them, right? This isn't not even a maxed out KUVA QUARTAKK. It's a weapon that I like a lot, and you don't need to get it to like 60% in order for it to be good. Like, it's doing just fine regardless.
Life support incoming.
You get like a nice long hallway with this thing, and it takes care of it. It's not a problem. And because, like I said earlier, because of Hunter Munitions, like stacking this thing up with Deadhead is really not very difficult at all. Especially with really a big factor in that, and I think we're going to see Deadhead a lot more just in general, because Deadhead stacks up with fewer enemies, which is really nice, and that's always been nice. But because of that higher headshot multiplier, the headshot increase is so much more impactful now, and that really does matter quite a lot for how good like weapons are just in general, and especially for primaries. Not so much for secondary weapons outside of stuff like the Nell, which has the headshot restriction anyway, so you might as well be doing it. But for weapons that are primaries, they have access to Hunter Munitions, which can be like the avenue to stacking up that you wouldn't have on a secondary weapon. The secondary weapons usually are good at stacking up if they can inflict like an outrageous number of heat procs, but you can get around that on primaries with just having them be a crit weapon, and then Hunter Munitions can do that for you, because that can get through very large defenses whenever you stack up enough. Oh, there we go. Oh, hey there. Alright, we have an Acolyte headed in. We are going to use just the burst for them. It's Angst, which should not be a problem at all. Unfortunately, the QUARTAKK does have a harder time with enemies that you have limited status on, like the Acolytes, because I can't just inflict like hundreds of slash and other procs that I normally would be able to, but the raw damage is plenty. Fortunately, we were kind of in a weird group of dudes here, but the raw damage is quite enough, especially if you like inflict a slow on like a Lich or whatever, then you'll have no trouble just like blasting through headshots. Also, I need to actually go down here and grab all this life support that's just been sitting at the end of this hallway from all these people I've been killing, because I have to actually pay attention. Whenever you're killing dudes at the end of a hallway, you have to actually go get it.
Our operative is making progress. This
Yeah, you can see like the punch through on this helps so much.
Extraction is ready.
Like just in general, like being able to shoot through like that box that I just fired through, even just that is like quite a bit, honestly. I just love this thing. The way that it feels, like the chunky nature of it, just like, you know, it rewards headshots in a way that feels good and like is effective. It's bullet type, or well, not necessarily it's bullet type, but like the way it fires is very unique, and both modes are good, which is like really appealing to me as someone who likes it whenever the whole weapon is useful and not just like one mode of it. The reload is chunky. It's just good. I've always liked the QUARTAKK. And while it's not a KUVA Brahma, right? It just isn't. It's not a KUVA Brahma. It's just not as strong, and that's okay. But like, I mean, we're doing Steel Path with pretty much just this, which for most single target weapons is a pipe dream. So, I mean, it could be made pretty obvious. It's like, it's a high tier for a single target. Like overall, we're not like in Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory in terms of like, oh, a single target weapon that's insane, like the Fenmore, for example. But it's definitely up there. And it's especially easy to build just because the extra stuff you get from the extra forma, because you get the extra mod points. You can mod this thing really easily for what it wants. Like I have like 20 extra mod points overall, and you can get away with so much less forma on this thing than you can like a lot of other weapons, because you want to put stabilizer on it and everything because it can kick like a mule, but you don't have to. And it's easy to include something like stabilizer because you are just going to have the mod points for it. You don't need to be like 6 forma deep on a weapon to get that extra Exilis mod in there. These weapons just kind of have enough, usually on about 3 forma, depending on what the weapon starts with. The KUVA weapons are really good about not draining you of forma, unless, of course, you want all the mastery from them, and then they're horrible about it, which is interesting, at least. We got our other acolyte coming. I better grab some life support. Make sure I don't, and I'll mess it up. Oh, Malice. And one of the lucky things about the new stuff on him is, or on Revenants in particular, is even if Malice hits you with the bubble, because of the 1 second between damages, you actually like can't kill yourself with the bubble if you have like a bunch of charges up. Obviously, without any charges up, just like any frame, you can off yourself. But you actually can't kill yourself very easily with the bubble because of that 1 second of vulnerability, and because it's any amount of damage, it doesn't matter. Oh, the cat actually removed the Acolyte's armor. Where's the Acolyte at? I thought he was down here. We put his bubble back on. Where are you at, bud? There you are. There we go. He's gone. Yeah, just this being able to like do this survival without like needing constant like pickups from the AirPod drops is just like, it's just not what most single target weapons are able to do. Just plain and simple. Although we are running low here. There we go. Got a couple good drops. Ooh. There we go.
Critical life support levels. Extraction is your best option.
Fortunately, I wish Xmas also always dropped life support, but they do not. We'll grab 1 canister for getting out of here. Mostly just a safety, but you know. Always unfortunate too whenever you have to run for a pod, because you end up with all the enemies behind you. Although with a weapon like this, that can actually be very advantageous, of course. Because you start firing this down a hallway and everyone just explodes into a million slash procs.
The longer you fight, the more successful we will be.
All right, time to get out of here. But yeah, doing these in just one take and hitting them up on stream and stuff, I think it's going to be a good time. Let me know, obviously, in the comments if you think that is a good idea, as I'm sure that'll be divisive at best. Did that not go down? Do the thing. Thank you. Is it not going to tell me which way the exit is? I mean, it will momentarily. Guess it's probably up this way. Nope, it's the other one. Finally, I see the green. Probably could have been there already. Oh, well. Oh, geez, it's super far away. There we go. Yeah. the KUVA QUARTAKK. Weapon that I like quite a lot. It's a good one. Very enjoyable. Good chunkiness to it. And that's what's up. But yeah, I'm going to be streaming tonight. It is the best time to be starting this, as gifted subs at the end of September here are 25% off on Twitch. So if you want me to go through a bunch of weapons and stuff, tonight's stream is going to be a good time to do that. And I will hopefully see you there. Also, hey everyone, we have a new outro. So sorry this has taken a little while to get going for those of you that are over on the Patreon, but thank you so much to all of you $10+ patrons. Brutus, Salazar, Dylan Dworsky, Efrain, Jeremy Stevens, Joshua Adams, Malik X. Williams, Mitchta, Trent Hallmark, Victor, and Zach Zahner. Thank you very much for being $10 patrons. And also, thank you very much to just all the patrons in general. It's been really awesome to try and get this big website stuff off the ground. And I hope you guys continue to support me and are enjoying the content that is going up there, including this video. So yeah, it's been a fantastic time so far, and hopefully we can just keep it going. Have a good one, everybody. Hopefully you guys enjoy the new outro as well. I think it came out pretty nice. And that should do it. Later, all.